Hi guys, Mark here for KetoKitchenCollection.com, the home of the dynamic keto meal plan, and today's video is about my experience. How long does it take to get into ketosis, and how long did it take me to get into ketosis? Well, I've been in and out of ketosis about 20 to 25 times over the last few years, simply to experiment with what works best for me, what gets me into ketosis the quickest, and what makes it the most tolerable going through that keto flu period of a few days. So for me, on average, it's about 3 days to get into ketosis. Now, it didn't start out that way. When I first was getting into the keto diet, going into ketosis, it was more like 4 or 5 days. But as I practiced and went in and out of ketosis more often, I got it down to around 2 to 3 days. So on average for me, it's about 3 days. I'm not anybody special. I'm going to be the same as you guys. So I would expect that if you haven't been in ketosis before, it's probably going to take you roughly around 4 days as you get more used to it. And perhaps you could say as you get more fat adapted and you get more experience with the keto diet as you've been on it longer, if you subsequently go into ketosis in the future more and more times, that duration will shorten. You'll be able to get into ketosis more quickly. That's what I've found, and it's what I've found that others have experienced as well. So there are some ways that we can actively shorten that time frame though. You don't have to wait, like some people will wait 4 or 5 days, maybe even a week sometimes. There are ways that we can try and compress that time period so that you can get into ketosis quicker. Okay, so there's two main ways that we'll discuss now. Both of them I've tried, and I do actually do when I go into ketosis. First of all, to get into ketosis, what we need to do, of course, is cut all carbohydrates out of the diet. If we don't do that, we're not going to get into ketosis. But we also have to reduce the stores of carbohydrates that our body holds. Now, it holds those carbohydrates in the form of glycogen, which is stored in the muscles and also in the liver. So we have to get rid of those stores first before our brain will signal our body to properly switch over into ketosis. How can we lower those stores more quickly? The first thing that I do is a short period of fasting. So I found that for me, 1 day of fasting, so that's only water and multivitamins to get in the vitamins and minerals, is the only thing that I will consume. Okay, and electrolytes, which basically comes under the multivitamin and vitamins and minerals. That's just to keep myself healthy, but I don't eat any food at all. I don't drink any coffee. I might have a little bit of sugar-free Pepsi Max, but that's about it. By fasting, your body has to tap into those glycogen stores, okay, those carbohydrate stores. It still wants to run on carbohydrates, so if you're not giving it to yourself in the diet, it's going to tap into the glycogen in your muscles and in your liver and use those up fairly rapidly. So that's one way you can accelerate that process of getting into ketosis. I have tried going longer with fasting, up to 2 days. I think the longest I did was about 2.5 days, but for me, fasting that length of time is not a very comfortable thing for me personally to do. Some of you may be fantastic on it, but rest assured that a short period of fasting will help accelerate to some degree that transition into ketosis. Now, there is a second thing that we can do to help reduce those glycogen stores and get ourselves into ketosis as fast as possible, and that is exercise. So typically speaking, if we're going to try and use up all those glycogen stores, what you normally want to do is steady state cardio rather than anything like short bursts of strength and power like weight training or sprinting or anything like that. Of course, those things will help, but steady state cardio at a moderate pace with your heart rate reasonably elevated, the longer period of time that you can sustain that, the more of those glycogen stores you will start to use. Okay, so two things that we can do to accelerate the process into ketosis. Number one is a period of fasting. For me, the best duration is 1 day, and then I go straight into the keto food. And also steady state cardio for as long as you can. For me, I do maybe on the first day 40 minutes, the second day I might reduce it to about 30 minutes, and then from that point on I go back to my weight training regime. Guys, if you found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe. I appreciate the time you've given me today, and I'll see you guys on the next one.